And speaking of live, guess what? We are live. It's Friday night. Special time, special start time, 9:30 to about I'd say 11ish, whatever the case may be. It's time for the realest talk in sports. We are called In the Paint. My name is Rodney Jones, but I'm also known on the land of Facebook as Angus Black. You might see me pop up in your timeline, all that good stuff. And joining me is a man that created the show, Mr. Mark A. Cunningham. And we're joined. Well, before I say and we're joined, Matt, how you doing?
Brother, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well. Doing
Wild
well.
and crazy today
And
in the
yesterday.
NBA land.
And yesterday as well. And also joining us is our esteemed brother Dominic from NC. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen.
All right. Everything good?
Yes, sir.
All right. And let's bring one more my nemesis, my arch
Oh,
nemesis. Welcome. Your mic is live, Sir Bishop. How are you today?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm glad. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Of
This is.
course.
I feel wonderful today.
Yeah.
She feels vindicated.
he feel he feels wonderful. He's not really that vindicated. He got a couple of things on going
Oh,
on for him.
I
But
feel
not,
vindicated. I feel
I
vindicated.
feel a sense of jubilation, and and I don't know what it stems from, but I'm hoping maybe we can get to the root of it during the show. So thank you
yeah,
once again for having me, and yes, God bless.
yeah. I got a feeling it's gonna be a bloodletting. So it's gonna be a blood. It's gonna be a bloodletting today. I feel it in my bones, and so it begins with the drama. Brooklyn Nets power forward Kevin Durant demands trade. Disgruntled Kyrie Irving, I hate that guy, opts into $36 million. I thought the number was 37. Maybe I'm incorrect, but 36 is 36, $37 million difference. Who cares? Guys, you all know on the show that I am a Brooklyn Net fan, and I'm going to remain a Brooklyn Nets fan, no matter how many rocks, how many stones that you guys throw. You guys live in glass houses, and you know what they say about people that live in glass houses? They should not throw stones, but I'll save that for another day. Right now, I can say right now, Kevin Durant can go. Kyrie Irving, even though he opted in, he can go too. The haul for trading, one or two of these guys, it's not going to be a king's ransom. It'll be decent, and I think it'll be decent enough where it's not a complete disaster as some of these gentlemen, particularly one, has to say about it. So, addition by subtraction, I think this is the case of it right here. I know we have Ben Simmons, and I don't know what could be made said about him and his talent and whatnot that we don't already know, but the back injury probably affects it even more. So we'll see how this pans out. But overall, it is not dead in Brooklyn. Yeah, we may have taken a hit or two, but it's not completely dead. And I know they lost Bruce Brown as well today as well, which I thought was a kind of important piece. But still, all is not dead in Brooklyn. As all is not dead. That's right. Laugh all you want, Nick fan.
That's a snarky laugh.
Well,
Again.
no, the reason why I'm laughing is because you said you just glossed over the main two guys and was like, "Oh yeah, we lost Bruce Brown. He's a very good, very important piece to our equation."
I didn't gloss over it. I said about Kyrie and KD. But go ahead.
I'm just, just seemed like you were trying to gloss over it. And
No, not even.
Okay.
Not even.
All right. Okay, maybe it was me then. I don't know. Maybe it was me.
I think it was your over exuberance that led to your faulty yeah, exactly.
Assumption. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are you opening up the stage? Are you opening up the floor?
Oh no,
Matt?
I already opened. The floor is open. Matter of fact, you got the mic right now. The floor is open.
Okay, microphone check. 1 2. 1 2.
1 2.
All right. So I told you guys maybe 2 or 3 sessions ago when Sean Marks was talking all of the smack and all of the sports commentators were putting the battery in his back. He's like, "Oh yeah, we need We need full-time players. We don't need part-time players. This and that. Yada 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 yada. It's like, dude, that's not your concern. Stay away from the culture wars of vaccines and who is vaccinated, who's not vaccinated. Not your job. Your job is to manage a basketball team. All of this, we're all glossing over the fact that Kyrie could have played every single game, vaccine or no vaccine. He could have played every single game. It was Sean Marks' decision, and he publicly announced that decision that he wanted to keep Kyrie away from the team because he wanted everybody all in. Kyrie never said anything about him not being in. He just said he didn't want to be vaccinated. And for whatever reason, whatever his rationale was, his job was to then figure out how can we get around this mandate to allow my guy, a 27-point-a-night guy, 40-something% from the three-point line, almost 50% from the field, 90-something% from free throw line, how to get my guy on the court. That's what his job was. But he decided that he wanted to jump on the Sirius XM commentators, the ESPN, all of these guys. He wanted to jump on that bandwagon. Kyrie is not vaccinated. He's not part of the team. He's not this. He's not that. It's like he could have played every single game. After about 5 games, they won about 5-6 games in a row. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Nobody's talking about it anymore. He's the hero of Brooklyn. So Sean Marks, I blame him for this. I'm not a Kyrie fan, but I blame the lion's share of this on Sean Marks.
Okay.
The lion's share of it goes to Sean Marks, and it's like, okay, well, how long are you gonna shit on this dude before his butt buddy gets in his feelings? How long?
Okay. I you know what? I could agree with you on your take with Sean Marks. I get it. You know.
So he needs to go too. He needs to go too. And unfortunately, he won't go before Kyrie and KD.
Right.
But I think if they got rid of him, I think that might go a long way with getting KD and Kyrie to kind of like forget all of this nonsense that's going on. Because if you notice, they said Kevin Durant went to the owner and requested a trade. So you're no longer communicating with the general manager. You're going directly to the owner, which means that the lines of communication with the general manager are no longer open.
Okay.
You have no words for that dude. So it's like how many players go directly to the owner to request a trade? You normally deal with the GM. Mac, am I wrong?
Good point.
You're not wrong.
No, good point.
So this is all on Sean Marks' shoulders. I'm not absolving Kyrie, but this is on Sean Marks' shoulders. And it's like, how do you go from being in the rankings for contending for a championship to it all fall into crap and having nothing? So you're gonna have a starting lineup with LaMarcus Aldridge, what's the Howdy Doody?
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Howdy Doody. Yeah. It's gonna be your starting lineup: Claxton, Seth Curry, and Patty Mills. Oh well, wait, you have the other shooter.
And they made a deal today. They got somebody back. I forget who.
Even Andre Drummond left.
Smart man.
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
So I think this is all on Sean Marks. Think about that. I'm done.
Okay. Go ahead, Mac. I see you. The finger up. Go ahead.
Finger.
Yes,
Listen, to echo my brother, the Bishop, Sean Marks is a clown. You tried to get really, really cute with the deals you made. You should have never brought in James Harden when you had Jared Allen and Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie, he was a former All-Star. KD and Kyrie also were running the asylum. You know, dude running around saying, "Oh, you know, we don't need a coach. You can ball out." You know, On talent alone. You bring in a novice coach, a guy who never coached, is Steve Nash. Another bad move. Echoing what he said about Kyrie and Marks running his mouth. KD is that guy sitting back there. You think he's all in with you, but he's looking at you like. And yes, he overstepped the GM. That's a power move. He said, you know what? You suck. Forget you. I'm going to the man, and spoke to the owner and demands a trade. The Nets are done. They're done. But I told you guys that when they got Kyrie and KD, it could go either of two ways.
Yes, sir.
Either it's going to be beautiful because they're both immensely talented players, or it could go sideways because Kyrie is not a leader.
Okay.
He's sometimey. He's injury prone. KD is a flighty, flaky dude. And we see how flighty and flaky he is. He's ready to fly the coop.
Because they was treating his boo wrong.
Okay.
Can I try to give a different spin? Or
Dominic, go right ahead, please.
All right. Everything everybody said until we find out the real story, until somebody talks.
Thank you.
But let's just rewind the clock a little bit. Everybody loves player empowerment until it affects your team. And let's go back to January when I brought up on you guys' show that the commissioner wants to try to find a way to curb this. But I guess his action of curbing it is going to come too late, because here's what we got now. You got two guys. You got two guys that wanted all the power. And then when things go a little left and somebody's feelings get hurt, we want to play the powerman again. I don't want to be here. You know, he just signed an extension. I'm not taking nothing away from Durant. I'm just trying to follow this ridiculously bouncing ball. Because if you love Kyrie that much, then you saw what they was doing to him. If you got in your feelings, why didn't you say something then? You waited till 3 hours before the free agency opened up to say, I want out.
Well, Dom.
You went, wait, let me finish, Bishop. You went through everything Bishop said. My butt buddy, my this buddy. But they gave you and your butt buddy everything y'all wanted. But you waited until 3 hours before the free agency. You saw what they was doing. We don't want a long-term contract with this guy. Okay, that was your first check. That was your first check mark to get in your feelings. Actually, you should have got your first check mark in your feelings when the Nets got bumped. And the Nets were already talking about we're contemplating a long-term contract with him. We'll see what he does, whether he opts in or opts out. That was the first step you had to come out of your butt buddy feelings. But you didn't. You didn't. Then you waited, and then you waited, and then he opts in, and now you want out. I don't get that part, guys. I don't care what kind of feelings you got. If those were your feelings, those feelings should have been addressed 3 days after y'all got swept. And everybody was talking about the Nets. And the Nets came right out and said it. You could blame them for all their fiasco moves. But they came right out and said, we don't know the status of what we're going to do with Kyrie. We may have to readjust it. We may not want to do this long-term contract. We got to see what he's going to do, whether he opts in or opts out.
Well,
he waits till the 23rd hour to opt in. Of course, he's going to take the money.
Well, you know what, Dom?
Where was the feelers for him getting traded to somebody for $37 million?
He did try to pull a move and leave before Durant.
Exactly.
He requested a trade.
Nobody wanted him.
Nope, his market value is
right.
At an
this is what I'm saying,
Mark.
I'm trying to follow. Right. I'm trying to lay down the bouncing balls that I saw. Whether you agree or not, that's on you. I'm not going to take you off your horse. I'm just following the bouncing balls of this whole thing from the day they got swept. From the day, no knock against the sweep. Don't get me wrong. I'm just going back to that.
3
days later, Everybody knew how the Nets felt. You could badmouth their front office. I don't care. I don't have a nickel in this dime. But I'm just saying the groundwork was laid then. That was about, what, a month and a half ago. Everybody went, black ops, didn't say nothing. And then all of a sudden, 3 hours before the free agency opens up, I want out. You put the pieces together. Could it be, and again, guys, we're all just speculating. Could it be that Kevin Durant finally got to the point where he said, I can't be around this guy. Nobody could be around this guy. He takes days off for social issues. Like there hasn't been social issues before he was born. I don't feel good. My nail hurt. The COVID, whatever the case may be, there's always a case with this guy.
That I agree with. But you got to think, in order for, and I'm not a KD fan like that anyway, but in order for him to get to the point where he's just leapfrogging the general manager, it could be that he expressed his discontent with how they were handling the Kyrie situation, because one of the things that it came up with is like he is not pleased with how they're handling Kyrie. He came out with a statement that said
that was like a day or two ago.
He came out with a statement. He came out with a statement. So this has been communicated in my mind to me. If I'm putting the pieces together, it would sound like to me that he spoke on it. Sean Marks spoke out of both sides of his mouth. He said one thing to
which
KD,
he has a tendency to do.
Right. He said one thing to KD, and then said something else to Kyrie, as if the two of them don't talk. And then he said another thing in the media. So now
here's another caveat. They both have said they are open to reuniting somewhere else together.
Right.
But
so that doesn't even make sense.
Let me just say something to Bishop's timeline. I'm not debating Bishop's timeline, but that's a very long timeline. And none of this was brought up. None of this I want out was brought up. None of it. I don't care who you was talking to.
Who knows? Who knows? Because
again, when it happened, Bishop, I'm only going by what we know. When it happened, it happened. Mm-hmm. When he said something 3 hours before free agency kicked off, everybody in the world knew. So if he said this 6 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure something would have been said. Something would have been leaked. And you know what? I can't even say nothing about, he went right to the owner. This is the NBA we have now, guys. These guys feel they have all the power. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, where I want. And then, exactly, Mark. And then I'm going to tell you, I'm telling you, the guy paying my check, you're going to send me to ours house.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he demanded, let's see.
He gave him 2 teams. And here's the last
Kyrie wanted to go to LA. He was going to opt out. He was going to opt out and go to LA and take $6 million.
$6 million.
Hold on. But the Nets would have had to take back Russell Westbrook, and they said no. So then Kyrie went back and said, "Well, anybody else want me?" And they were like, "No."
But
he said, "Okay, I opt in."
But Mark, even that sounds bizarre, because if you're gonna opt out, the Nets don't owe you nothing. If the Lakers are gonna take him for $6 million, they ain't got to get rid of Westbrook. They don't have to get rid of Westbrook. We can worry about that another time. So that didn't even sound right.
Yeah, who's going to walk away from 36 million? Who's going to walk away from 36 million? Exactly. Nobody in their right mind.
Unless you know that the team said, okay, Bishop, opt out.
We got a long-term deal for you.
And we'll work another deal for you. That's another max deal. Right. That wasn't the case, because they have been adamant publicly on not giving this dude another multi-year deal.
And rightfully so.
Exactly. So again, only my guesstimation, my thoughts. Sooner or later, I don't know how we could take later when it comes to Kyrie, that everywhere he's been, he has burned bridges, pissed people off, left them high and dry. And the sad thing about it is every one of those teams, except Cleveland, who's actually on the come up now, have actually gotten better. So when you look at this guy's track record, you know what, guys, at the end of the day, I really do blame Kevin Durant for the one thing of following this buffoon.
Enabling him?
Yeah, and you followed him. You bought into this because, as Bishop would say, butt buddies. You followed your butt buddy right into a hole. And guess what? For half the time you were there, he wasn't available, whether it was COVID or something else. You weren't there. Just like the last series they lost when Durant's foot was right below the line. Where was Kyrie? Where was Kyrie during that series? Oh, that's right. He was hurt. Oh, that's right. Yeah, my bad. He was hurt. So again, Durant, if you got anybody to blame, you can say what you want about Sean Marks, the popcorn vendor, the owner. This is on your watch because you follow this guy, knowing his history. You got all
his
the
boy.
nickels in the dime.
Now y'all
again,
also,
guys, the only thing that threw me for a loop is the two teams that he gave. Miami, Phoenix. What was the deal with Phoenix? They had no intent on signing Ayton. Wow, what a great sign and trade that would be, huh? Like almost like this was pre-rehearsed.
Yes, sir.
And we don't know what's going to happen with Ayton. The theory I'm coming up with may still come into play. They might sign and trade Ayton with another piece to the Nets for Kevin Durant. So again, through all of this bullshit, he still wins. He gets to go where he wants to go, when he wants to go, on the Nets' dime.
Always. If y'all notice how Kevin Durant moves, okay, see, I understand. Okay, you didn't like it with Westbrook, and Draymond met you in the parking lot. Yo, come roll with us. So you bounce. You didn't speak to Westbrook, who's supposed to be your brother and your man. So you go to Golden State. You win 2 titles. You win 2 MVPs in the finals. But you mad at Draymond because Draymond called you out on the court. And I knew that. What did I say when that happened? Or what did I say?
You said he's gonna leave.
And what did he do?
He left.
Dude is
but
you know,
Mark,
me and R argue sometimes, but I wouldn't do that to R. I wouldn't suddenly go, yo, I'm out. I'm bouncing to this other show. You can have in the paint. Deuces.
But in those cases, Mark, and again, I don't want to sound like Durant's lawyer. In both of those cases, he was a free agent.
Yes.
So he got to go where he wants to go.
Right. I'm not mad at him being a free agent and going wherever you want. I would never say that, but it's just how he moves. He dipped on them.
LeBron has done the same thing.
Yes.
And again, those cases, as much as I don't like the buddying up and all of that, you're a free agent. You get to go to R's house, Bishop's house, whatever house you want to go to. But when you sign a contract and then 10 minutes later you say, I don't like R. His beard's getting too thick. I want out of here. Now that's a bitch move, guys. That's a bitch move. If you want to call a bitch move a bitch move, that's a bitch move.
I don't like that Met hat he got on.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I'm a Met.
And the Mets won tonight. Good for them.
There you go. Listen, hold on. Let me interrupt you guys. Let's bring in my man Reggie. Reggie's your mic is live as well. Hopefully all is well. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, gentlemen. Yo, I'm just enjoying it right now.
All right.
Yes,
What's
sir.
good, bro?
I'm hanging in there, fellas. I'm hanging in there. You know, I'm doing my Costco duties. I gotta do drive-bys and stuff, delivering packages and stuff. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, brother. I think that was Bishop was going to say something before I had to stop him.
No. What I was going to say is, the player empowerment thing. Like, I'm kind of like I don't really care because for the last 50, 60 years, 65 years, the players have been getting screwed over by management. It's been like whatever's good for my bottom line, that's what I'm doing. Whether that means you waste your whole career playing for me, and as long as
I don't get you no help.
Right, I don't get you no help, but you sell tickets and the people like you. You know what I'm saying? You're amenable, you speak well, you know what I'm saying? You're presentable, you clean up nice. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna mess around and be touching no kids funny or doing nothing out the ordinary, beating up your wife or whatever. You know, it's all good.
How do we explain James Dolan? Then?
It's all good. Please,
James Dolan don't listen. Even before James Dolan, no New York Knicks owner has cared about the fans because the New York Knicks always make money.
Exactly. And championships across the board. I don't care what Gottlieb or Jacobs or whoever, Golden State. I don't care what they're saying. The championships are for the fans. You see how awkward they look when they're standing up there? Because they don't. That's not their thing. You know what I mean? That's not their thing. The championships, it's fine. They give you the trophy. You can stand there. You can say, "Hey guys, attaboy, attaboy, we did it." You know what I'm saying? But it's like that's not what they're in it for. That's not what they're in it for, because if they were truly in it for that, like everybody would be like tooth and nail. They would be like undercutting each other. They would be like Danny Ainge, like Pat Riley. They would be doing like shady stuff. Nobody would want to make a deal with anybody, but that's not what it is. That's not what it is. So I'm okay. I don't care if the ink is not even dry on your deal and you decide that you want to go play someplace else. You know what? Management has been screwed. How many players have come and gone in this league and never even got an opportunity to play in a significant round in the playoffs because management decided that they didn't need that. It wasn't until LeBron. It wasn't until LeBron spaced the Cleveland Cavaliers owner so much so that he wrote him a Django letter after he left. You understand what I'm saying?
He said Django letter
after he left. After
the first or the second time?
The first time.
First time.
Okay.
The first time.
Got you.
And after he wrote that, let me just say this, Bishop, and then you can go back. After he wrote that letter, he could never, ever, 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 ever speak to me again, and I wouldn't have gone back to Cleveland. But I understand why LeBron went back to Cleveland, because Cleveland is a flyover city, and when he left, so did a lot of jobs and money in Cleveland. When he came back, you know.
But ain't that an oxymoron? Again, Bishop with his Django letter, but now again, you want your way. You're gonna go do this. I don't get half of this stuff no more. Bishop could go back in the past, and we all understand that.
But you know what? Dom, it is both ways. Both some of the players are wrong in some of the ways they move.
Exactly.
And owners are definitely wrong in the ways that they move and how they've moved over the years.
Exactly.
But
my only gist with all this, one, I don't take pleasure in bashing somebody else's sorrow because I'm a Knicks fan. I have no business doing that.
Right.
Listen, when the
Celtics, Thank you, Dom.
Exactly. I am in no position to talk about something like that.
When the Celtics are bad, it's angelic heaven for me.
Right.
That's a shot at you,
that's
Chris.
Different. That's different, Mark. When it comes to playing, and competing, yes, I can't stand neither one of them. If they're playing my team, yes. But I don't get a rise out of somebody doing something, and me as a Knicks fan, I gotta back up, because I know one day somebody's gonna say, "Man, you got the balls to be talking about my team."
Word.
You know, the only team that could say the only team that could not say nothing.
Let me say this, Bishop.
I
mean, ain't no whoa, brother.
Ain't no whoa, Bishop.
Dom. The Nets fans.
Here you go.
Relax.
Here you go.
Relax.
I'm not gonna relax.
Oh, it's not a shot at you. It's not a shot at you. It's them Net fans been running around rampant, talking about this our city and being disrespectful to the Knicks, which they have a right to, because the Knicks are, they shitty and have been shitty. But relax, y'all ain't running nothing.
That's just sports banter, Mark. That's
and that's what we're doing here.
Same city, but again, I'm just talking about me. I cannot. The only team I could do this to, and they could not say nothing back to me, is Minnesota and Sacramento. Those are the only two teams I can say anything to, and they can't say nothing back to me.
You're about right there. But to get back to the point with the owners, not that I'm signing with the owners, not that I'm signing with the players, but at the same time, as an owner, the money that I'm doling out, I mean, we getting contracts that's like crazy.
It's ridiculous.
And then you get these guys, okay, I get the bag, and then, okay, I'm out for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think I read.
You understand? Now, at the same time, and this is just my opinion, damn, I can't recoup none of that.
Dude,
I read that Joker's contract at the last year. It's like $60 million.
It starts out at like 53, Mark.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of my damn money right there. And
that's crazy.
You think I'm not going to have a say in what's going on? Crazy.
Dude, you failing to realize that if the owners are doling out 221 million, 265 million,
I understand what you're talking about.
somebody's going to reach a $300 million contract. Maybe it might be Luka. Maybe I don't know. Somebody's going to hit 300 million. But if they're paying that out over 5 years, guess how much money they're making, and guess how much money they've been making. And they have been keeping the lion's share.
We get Bishop. I understand that, and I get that part.
Right.
But
so I'm not
at
crying.
the end of the day, you can't. As nobody, that's like you paying all the bills in your house, right? And let's say your kid is dictating what the fuck you supposed to be, what the fuck I want to do, and how I want to spend your money.
How did I see that one coming?
I need them new Yeezys now. Forget the lights.
The funny thing is, guys, when we talk about and I understand what Bishop's saying, but I also understand what Reggie's saying, because you don't buy something if you're a businessman, your business is not to lose money. So if you're gaining money and Bishop's making $53 million a year, then we're all winning. We're all winning. But we're talking about just waking up one day with a $41 million contract and saying, you know what, I gotta go. When does that stop? That's all I'm saying. Damn all the past and when does that stop?
Whose problem is that? I don't care about billionaires. I don't care about the problems that they have. So what? You have to regulate somebody who you're paying $1 million for, and you're a billionaire. Guess what? Guess who doesn't care? I certainly don't care about that. Those are your problems. Those are your problems.
So,
you understand what I'm saying? So contract is that you make.
What would happen? What would happen, guys, if the owners who Bishop thinks is Django Unchained every 5 minutes? Wonder if the owner went to Kevin Durant and said, I ain't traded you.
He could say that.
It's right. It's his right.
It's
his right.
That's happened before.
But it won't happen no more, Mark. And that's why we're where we're at now. I
until somebody until somebody make a stand against these fucking fucking brats, this going to keep happening. You're right.
And that ain't going to happen, Reg, because again, you allowed this for so long. And again, what did I say earlier? The commissioner was talking about this in January. He didn't make no move. He never came up with a plan. And now we have this. But I did hear some strange rumor that one of his plans was if Durant walked away from R's able to recoup, I think the percentage was 50 to 65% of that salary. That ain't gonna fly because the players' union ain't gonna go for that.
No.
Yeah.
So
let me ask y'all this question. Okay. Remember when they said they had to save the owners from themselves when they were giving out the 7-year max deals?
So,
right. Well, not even that. Just the 7-year max deal, and they reduced it now to the if you stay with your team, your original team, you get 5 years. If you leave, you get 4.
Right.
How's this working out? Because the contracts are ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
Has that been a good move for the owners or a bad move in your guys' opinion?
They probably saving money. They probably saving money by doing a 5 year. So it's like at the end of the day,
because take it like this: if you sign a dude and he's 27, 28, and you give him 7 years, that year 35 and year 34 is when a player is shot a lot of times.
More times than not. Okay.
So you giving somebody X amount of dollars maximum, and they garbage.
Well,
that's why the owners
skill set. Yeah, the skill set is waning
but
by that time.
It's like what baseball went through, guys. There's only a handful of guys, and they basically got that contract at around 23, 24 years old. Those 10-year contracts that baseball is damn near put into oblivion now. But you still got a handful of them left. But if you look at their age, then you can say, okay, if the team wanted to invest, a 10-year contract in, let's say, Trout, Tatis, they was like in their early 20s when they got these contracts.
Right.
But if you're 27 and over, I don't care what sport it is, them long-term contracts are gonna come back to bite somebody in there.
Well,
that's why I think that's why they got rid of that 7-year deal, Mark. But you know what? During that, they also cut that rookie contract. Remember when a rookie had to be on a team for 4 or 5 years before he could be eligible for free agency?
Right.
They got rid of that. So again, everybody bended and everybody got what they wanted. But again, to the point we're talking about now, just to wake up one day and say, I don't want to be here, that's kind of weird. And it's happening too much. James Harden just did it 5 minutes ago.
He did it twice.
Yeah, Ben Simmons did it 5 minutes ago.
And he about to get $20 million back. He about to get that $20 million back.
Yeah, of course he is. Yep.
He about to get that $20 million back. People talking about, just walk away from it and go play ball.
No.
You walk away from $20 million. You owe me $20 million. Guess how much I want? $20 million.
Well, James Harden he wants to stay in Philly because, like we said in the text group, he's with his GM Morey. That's his daddy. That's his basketball daddy. Basketball daddy and him said, okay, I'll opt out of the 40+ million that I'm supposed to get, so y'all can make some moves to add pieces around me, and then you're gonna give me another max deal close to what I was getting before. So he's gonna get another 40 million for the next.
But at least in
personally, I wouldn't do it for James Harden though. Because
James Harden ain't no idiot, because James Harden knew that if he opted out, where was he going to go to get close to that money?
Nobody is going to give him that. Plus,
exactly.
Well, let's take a look at Kyrie again. Nike just dropped him, so he would be missing the money to offset him opting out. James Harden has a $200 million sneaker deal. He good. He gonna be in the strip clubs and cheese steaks and wings forever.
But at least he did it the right way. I'm not giving him, a million kudos, but at least he cut a deal for James Harden and the Sixers. He didn't just say,
Oh, okay. That's
you don't sign me, I'm going to ours house. No, he actually cut a deal where hopefully everybody wins. Where in this case, the Nets ain't winning. They might come close if the Ayton sign and trade, they throw in a player and a couple of picks. Then it might not look as bad. But as of right now, we don't know what's going to happen. You saw what they did with Gobert. Minnesota gave up a boatload to get one guy,
which to me doesn't make sense because nobody's playing 2 7-footers together.
So Cleveland's playing 3.
That might, but that's Cleveland.
And
one of those 7-footers, and that's
those 2 players aren't similar.
Centers, right? And one of them is a forward. He just happens to be 7 feet.
Brad Sellers all over again.
He's a forward. No, the young kid.
I'm saying he was Brad Sellers. Remember that one?
Yeah. But it makes me wonder if Minnesota is going to be getting rid of Karl-Anthony Towns in some kind of like package or something like that.
Well,
because
why would they give him a super max deal?
Yeah.
Well, again, it just doesn't seem. It just
maybe
doesn't
they're going to trade Gobert. Again.
Maybe
or buy him
that.
out.
Maybe something like that, because it's Anthony Edwards' team. They gave Karl-Anthony Towns that money. They're gonna have to give Anthony Edwards that money as well.
Well, that's gonna be in a couple of years.
Right. They're gonna have to give him that money, and it just doesn't. It's like, okay, so now you got 2 7-footers. You got a 7-footer who's gonna be shooting threes. Now I have no rebounding responsibility, no rim protection responsibility. I can fight with guards as long as I want to get 3-point shots. I'm at the key, I'm at the elbow, I'm everywhere shooting threes. So it just doesn't seem like that's the prudent move. But I it's Minnesota. I don't care.
And the sad thing is, Bishop, there's some kind of bylaw where if you sign a max contract with your team, there's a certain period of time before they could even move you. It may be a year. Right. Because you see what happened to Gobert. He got a max, I think, last year, and they had to wait to get rid of him. So the same thing is going to happen to Towns and all the rest of these guys, the Jokers, and all of these guys that took these super maxes from their team. They just can't go and trade you within like 3 months.
Right.
So for some strange, bizarre reason, the Timberwolves plan on going into next year with this. Now the odd man out might be D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, he been out.
Yeah, that remains to be seen yet.
Back to what you said, Dom. I understand you're a humble guy, and you have a level of prudence with you and so forth. But I'm not the same way. Okay.
Hey, I'm not knocking your hustle. I know one thing, Bishop, in the line of work I was in, there was times I wanted to back out of my contract.
Right. So,
but I couldn't.
Right. Well, again, when Kyrie and KD got to the Brooklyn Novellas, there was all kind of shots fired at the real basketball team in New York. There was all kind of shots fired.
Did you hear? Did y'all remember what Durant said about us? Said about the Knicks?
We're not cool.
He said they're irrelevant.
Yes,
we're not cool.
Right.
That again, guys. That's like childhood, schoolyard nonsense. Just for me as a Knicks fan, we've made the playoffs once in 10 years. I'm not in no position to say, "Damn, you need to get a haircut."
Right.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. No. I'm saying when you live in a glass house, you can't afford to throw stones because I told you with these two sensitive dudes. You cannot mortgage or refinance banking on these two dudes. But what did you do? You still can't. Oh, y'all need to look at what we doing. You understand what I'm saying? We're a preferred destination for superstars, and you guys have been in New York all along. It's no longer the New York Knicks team. It's the Brooklyn Novellas, and so forth and so on. It was all kind of stuff said. And when I told you, dude, that's fool's gold, what you said to me. When I said to you that's fool's gold, what you said? You said, you crazy. You bugging.
Stop. First of all, shut up. We're gonna stop saying novellas. That's one. Okay, we're gonna knock that bullshit off.
They always
understand?
Novellas.
Nah, to you, and that's all to you, and nobody else cares. We're gonna stop talking about novellas and all this crap. Call them the Brooklyn Nets. Have some put some respect on their name.
Okay. Can I say one thing off of this topic? How long have I been asking you and Mac? Hey man, get Bishop's number. We got to get him in our thread.
For sure.
Y'all waited and waited. I hit him up today. Bishop, send me in. That son of a bitch wasn't in the thread 5 minutes and he started shit.
Exactly.
I'm like, what did I do?
Always, man.
It's going to do what
it
do, baby.
Bishop, I finally got him.
But again, here's the thing. Bishop,
you see the banner, right?
I saw it. I'm choosing to ignore that shit. I saw it
on Telemundo. Yes.
Whatever. I ignore that. Anyway, I will give the Bishop credit on Sean Marks because one thing that early on during this whole thing when they first came to Brooklyn is the fact that you don't need a coach, and you get rid of one good coach in Kenny Atkinson. I don't care, Bishop. I know you're not that crazy about him, but to me, he's more than decent, more than capable. You understand? And just that whole vibe of bringing Nash in, it ruined the whole culture right there. You understand? That was the beginning of
that's
the downfall.
another term they've been using. They said, in Marx has said this. We're gonna get back to Nets culture. What has been Nets culture?
I don't even know what that is, and I'm a Nets fan. Okay, I don't even know what that is.
They were trying to insinuate. That somehow, some way, that the Brooklyn Novellas had a winning culture, and they were getting back to their winning ways. That's what they were trying to insinuate with that. The Nets haven't been relevant since Jason Kidd and RJ and Vince Carter and Kenyon Martin. You remember those guys?
I remember those guys.
They had a little something with Deron Williams and ISO Joe.
They had a better run in that short. They had a better run in that short period of time than we've had in 25 years.
Right.
Yeah, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's besides the point. You don't want to
gloss over that.
Yeah, you want to gloss over that. You don't want to acknowledge that.
No.
It's so convenient for you. Okay, gotcha.
It was so new to you. And I remember a few times it was like, and I couldn't say anything back. I said I stated my case, and R stated what the facts were at that time, and I had no argument. So now the facts are the facts. So now I have an argument. And you want me to be quiet, Dom? You want me to be quiet?
I'm not.
You want me to sit on it? You want me to sit on it?
I'm just being
I can't
realistic.
do that. My conscience won't let me do it.
I'm just being realistic as a Knicks fan. The Knicks only been out the first round of the playoffs in like the last 15 years.
That's exactly
right.
That's right.
He's on some bullshit.
Hey, Dom,
He on some bullshit, Dom. He on some bullshit.
Hold on, Dom. You don't have no smoke for no Atlanta Hawks fans because they was real mouthy.
Yeah.
When they beat them, real mouthy.
I'll tell you what. I hope we're gonna go around the league because I'll tell you what. Them and the Bucks are winning. As far as what's going on right now, they're winning so far in all of this. Yeah. And the Celtics might be a close third. And they're all in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
Yeah, well, that Celtics trade has been great, but again, are you going to be able to rein in Tatum and Brown? Because nobody has been able to do that thus far. Nobody's been able to do that thus far.
I brought this up during the year, and it wasn't even the coach, not taking nothing away from him. It wasn't the coach. Because remember, guys, they were underneath the Knicks. When Marcus Smart came out and said, hey, we got to stop this. You shoot, I shoot, you shoot, I shoot. So they did that. They worked together for a while. And then they get in the playoffs and the championship, resort back to that. And the coach watched.
Well, they didn't resort to that. They just were missing.
They finally got a real point guard. Something the Knicks need. But anyway.
And hopefully the Knicks got, I've been a big let's get Brunson guy. So I'm not going to backtrack now. But see, again, not to change gears, but this is typical Knicks fandom. We get a point guard. Now they want Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Oscar Robinson. They're never satisfied. Take baby steps. We've been sucking for years. We should be taking baby steps, and especially when it comes to talking. We should be in the corner like this. Shh. Don't say nothing, or this might work. Just don't ruin it.
But they find a way to do it every time, bro.
Oh, Reggie, it's sickening. I'm getting ready to cancel my Twitter account. I can't even open Twitter without throwing up.
Listen, the move is a decent move. Jalen Brunson, 4 years, $110 million. They slightly overpaid for him.
But he actually gave him a $6 million break, Mark. He only took 104.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Does he really move the needle like that? I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, R. Thank you,
does.
R.
He
No,
does,
he
guys.
does
He
not.
does. He does.
Well,
I'll tell
you're
you this.
about to find out.
I'll
Yeah,
tell
you
you
got
this.
that right.
I'll tell you this, guys.
He's better than what we've had.
That's
I
the number
understand
one.
that.
But
I understand that.
At
will tell
what
you
point?
this is the thing. I was standing my ground with Brunson. I just kept thinking to myself, if he's doing what he's doing on a team with a ball dominant individual, like this kid averaged 16, 6, and 6. He probably averaged 16 points getting the ball with 4 seconds on the shot clock. So if he has a chance to not be with said ball dominant individual, let's see what he can do as a real starting point guard. And again,
I'm going to stop you right there, Dom. I'm going to stop you right there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Red.
So I'm going to stop you right there. First off, who are they going to key on? It's not going to be Randall because we know he's going left. It's not going to be Barrett because we know he's going left. You got to pay attention to Luka because Luka does a whole lot of assorted things. So, yeah, of course he's going to eat. But once the defense start keying on you, you think you're going to see them 16 points a night?
Yeah.
You might see them 16 points a night. You might see them 16 points a night on about, 36% shooting? Yeah, you might see that.
Reg, so he won't be playing off the ball. He'll be playing on the ball. He's going to have to distribute the ball. So his what he did in Dallas is going to slightly change.
If y'all think Randall is going to let that happen, you're bugging.
Hold on.
You're bugging.
What happened? What happened the year before?
What happened the year before? Please tell me.
Randall shared the ball. Randall was efficient. Yes or no?
Oh, that was a contract year, brother.
Okay, it was a contract year, but there was a system in place and there were point guards in place.
And what just happened the year we just watched?
There was no point guard. Rose was hurt.
Oh my God.
Alec Burks was the point guard. I take the ball.
All I want to know is how many times Bishop and Dom threw up in their mouths watching the Knicks play this year.
Okay, that was last year. Let's see this year.
Right.
Let's see this upcoming season.
Because you got a point guard.
You do have a point guard in place. You got a point guard in place. He might not be my cup of tea, but you do have a point guard in place. Let's see what happens this upcoming season.
Right? He's not a point guard, bro. He's not a point guard. He's not a point guard. He's a small two guard. He's a small two guard. He's a small two guard. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's the Knicks' version of Fred VanVleet. That's what he is. And
one
of the things that they're gonna find out is like, of those 16 points, when he was in Dallas, half of those points came with him driving in the paint and making moves in the post area, in the paint area, like pivoting and so forth and so on. In the Eastern Conference, where the games tends to slow down a bit and they're not gonna be honing in on Luka, you're not getting those kind of baskets. You're not getting those kind of points. So
thank you, Bishop.
Let's take that away. Now, as far as his jump shot goes, he's a threat from the perimeter. I got it. He's a threat from the perimeter. But if he's 6 feet, I'm going to put a 6'5" guy on him. I'm going to put a 6'5" guy on him that's long.
Okay, so you're going to put a 6'5" guy on him?
That's got to blow by him.
That's got a 7-foot wingspan.
Don't think so.
Hold on. What if you got a team with another small guard? You going to let Barrett feast on him?
Barrett is all left all the time. His third season in the league, he can't make a move off the dribble. He can't make a move off the dribble. He can't shoot off the dribble. He only goes in one direction.
So Bishop, he goes in one direction, and last year he averaged 18 points a game?
Because teams made the decision, we will live with him shooting. We're not going to let Randall beat us. That's what teams
said. No. Randall beat us by him. He beat us with his play.
No, let me tell you something. This is where we got to get rid of this false narrative. Because when you just blurt out stuff, not you, Mark, I'm saying people in general. Right. Oh my God, RJ Barrett had a standout year. He averaged 20 points, but every one of his numbers went down. field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, rebounds, assists. But you know what went up? Turnovers. You know who missed the most layups and dunks this year in the NBA? Russell Westbrook. You know who was 3 behind him? R.J. Barrett.
Why?
But because he averaged 20
no
points,
point
he had
guard
a blowout year.
Nah, that's
Really?
not the point guard. It's not the point guard. The point guard is not making layups. The point guard is not making you miss layups. The point guard is not making you make bad decisions. Dude, he only passed the ball to Randall. I watched him. It's like, if he gets the ball on the break, nobody else is getting it. He's taking it from end to end, and whatever happens, happens.
Sir,
he's not passing it. Yes.
Bishop, the ball moved differently the year before.
It wasn't because
Not
of
much. It moved differently because Randall was the one passing the ball.
Exactly.
Right.
It wasn't the
but
point guard.
They also had point guards moving the ball.
They was
Alec Burks.
Who? Elfrid Payton?
Oh my God,
Say
yo!
what you want about Elfrid Payton.
Who led the Knicks in assists that year?
Randall.
Thank you. Who led the Knicks in rebounds?
Randall.
Who led the Knicks in points?
Randall.
Who had the highest 3-point percentage?
It wasn't Randall.
It was Randall. He was 41%. 41% from 3 that year.
He was more efficient.
So now what I'm saying is, and please, people out in the social media sphere, don't take this the wrong way. R.J. Barrett has to improve on a lot of things. One is his basketball IQ.
I agree with you.
Because he's like a running back. He gets the ball, he puts his head down, and he just keeps going. He's worse than Randall. People don't want to believe this, but he's worse than Randall when it comes to decision making.
He gets the ball and he puts his head down and he's going to the basket.
And he's going left.
Right. But nobody is stopping him from going.
Time out.
Whoa.
Time out. Hold on. Time out. Let me get something in here. This is a great discussion, but unfortunately, I gotta run. You know what you
interrupted us for?
Yes, I am, because I just don't want to cut out. I want to thank you guys for joining.
Usually, you just bounce.
Exactly.
Well, with that being said,
I'm bouncing.
Yeah.
That dude is.
At least he said bye this time.
God help me. No. Have a great weekend. We'll holler at you later. Continuing with this Nick Jalen Brunson. We signed Mitchell Robinson. Gave him the market.
Oh God.
Price.
I hope that they could package RJ with something, because I'm hoping that somebody believes in them inflated numbers. One game, I'm telling you, one game RJ had 30 points and he took 27 shots. There is no circumstance on this earth that I want to see RJ shoot 27 shots in a game. The most that he should be getting is about 12 shots a game. You make it, break it with those 12 shots. That's it. And then make your free throws.
He's getting 15 to 16.
All right, 15 shots. 15 shots. That's still 3 shots too many, but I'll say 15 shots. And you got those 15 shots, because you should be averaging about 18 points a game. So
which he did.
You're saying I'm giving you 15 shots to average 18 points. That to me is crazy. You should be able to average 18 points with 10 to 12 shots. You should be able, and that's being generous.
Not your number 2 guy.
That's the problem, Mark.
Exactly.
I think he's more of an Alfred than he is a Batman or a Robin.
So let me ask you this. Who else is there to shoot the ball on the Knicks besides him and
That's
Randall?
the problem.
And quickly.
Dude,
Problem.
you got so you brought in, correct me, you brought the shooter from Orlando, you brought him in.
Yeah, he got his shots too.
40% from the 3-point for his career. And who's taking the most 3-point shots? Fournier. Who's taking the most 3-point shots during the game? Not Fournier.
Right.
You had other guys. You got these young Thundercats who the young one that you had started. You had so much confidence in him that you started him. It's like these guys need to be able to rely on getting at least 5 to 7 shots a game. They're out there hustling, playing defense. They're out there playing they don't see the ball. He might get a shot a quarter, and that's only because the shot clock is running down, or he gets a loose ball or something like that. And it's like, again, you as an NBA player, if this is what they're expecting from you, 15 to 18 points a game, you need to be able to think about how you're going to execute that the most efficient way. The most efficient way. And it's like 15 shots to average 18 points is horrible. Because you got to think, there's free throws, he's gonna get fouled. There's free throws in it. If he hits a 3-pointer, that's an extra point. So it's like from the sidelines only, because he's no good anyplace else. It's the sideline, the baseline, 3-pointers, because he can't shoot off the dribble. He can't shoot off the dribble.
He kind of shoots well in Indiana, but continue.
Yes. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. But again, it's like he's horrible in decision making. He only passes the ball to Randall. He's not efficient offensively, and he can't guard anybody. The only good thing is he's available. He doesn't get hurt. He's available.
To Bishop's point, everything he's saying, this is why I always look at numbers. Because everything he's saying, when you look, again, he had the most field goal attempts on the Knicks. He averaged 20 points, the same amount of points Julius Randle averaged. But his shooting percentages were horrific for a guy taking that many shots.
Julius's were worse.
Yeah, you would think, to what Bishop is saying, if I get 15 shots, even if I make 7 of them, that ain't too bad. It's a little under 50%. But that ain't bad.
I'm looking at the Knicks stats right now.
Go ahead.
They both average 17 shots a night. They both hit 7 shots a night.
Yeah,
Randall shot 30. Hold on. Randall shot 30% from the 3-point line. RJ Barrett shot 34% from the 3-point line, which is around the league average. So, and he didn't take as many threes as Randall did.
No, he did not. No, he did not. But
compare them numbers to last year's numbers. They all went down. The league average from 3-point is 36 to 38.
No, it's not.
I'm not taking nothing away from Barrett. I'm just trying to echo what Bishop is saying. If he took less shots and made those less shots more effective, then we could say, you know what? Again, not taking nothing away from this guy.
Fellas,
he's a young man.
Again, fellas, Rose will be healthy, and Brunson is a starting point guard.
So we're taking
change.
That's the good thing. I mean, Max, that we're taking the ball out of their hands, but that still don't alleviate when you get the ball in your hands, your basketball IQ of what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to continue doing what you're doing,
both their scorers. So when they get the ball, they're gonna.
I think Knicks fans, and this is no knock against you, Mark, but I think Knicks fans have put too many eggs in this kid's basket. Again.
When have you said
I know.
I'm not a
but in
I'm
this
not
case,
a RJ
Mark,
Barrett loyalist.
Right.
He's flawed.
Very.
But
sad
he is
thing
one of the better players on the team.
But the sad thing is, Mark, and maybe I should have never watched him in college. Unfortunately, I did. And all his weaknesses in college, which is now going on 4 years ago, are still his weaknesses in the NBA. His shooting, his free throw percentage. The only thing that saved him at Duke is they had Cam Reddish, who could basically do anything. They had Zion pounding it down low. They had a point guard. But when all of that went away and you just seen RJ Barrett as RJ Barrett, I just saw everything I saw in Duke, minus the players he had around him.
Well,
nothing has improved.
It is what it is. We got a new point guard. Hopefully things will change. Mitchell Robinson got his deal. Let's move on. The Atlanta Hawks traded Danilo Gallinari, 3 first-round picks, and they got the point guard Dejounte Murray, who I think the Knicks should have tried to go after. What are you guys' thoughts on this trade?
One, the Knicks didn't have no good assets to get him.
I agree.
Two, according to Murray himself, it was the Hawks or I'm staying in San Antonio.
Okay.
Wow.
So the Knicks weren't even in play.
Right,
Unless
they
you want
weren't.
to listen,
They weren't.
want to listen to Twitter and all the craze that thought we had enough assets. And the funny thing is, Knicks fans should have learned that at the draft. When everybody thought, again, listening to rumors and sources and all this garbage, that the Knicks were going to miraculously trade whatever asset they had to get the 4th pick. And nobody bit. Nobody bit for the 4th pick, the 5th pick, the 6th pick, the 7th pick, the 8th pick, the 9th pick, the 10th pick. So that right there should have let you know what? I think we're building these assets up to more than they are. Obi Toppin is not Connie Hawkins.
He's not a I don't think he has proved enough for somebody to sit there and say, maybe we should call the Knicks and see if
and get Toppin for a 4th round pick.
Or if the Knicks call, man, let's ask for Toppin. No, that's not happening. And I like Obi Toppin, and I hope he improves.
Me too.
And
but to put him on a pedestal that we're gonna take him quickly. Again, guys, I'm only going by what we've seen. I'm not making this up. They could not move none of that to get up in the draft.
Right, just
they
like
could not move. They couldn't entice San Antonio. But now we got this new thing, guys. I don't know. That's why I got to stay away from Twitter. We got this new X-Files thing now. San Antonio don't like the Knicks. They won't do business with the Knicks. This team don't like the Knicks. They won't do business with the Knicks. No, could it be that your assets are only assets in your eyes?
Yes.
I mean, think of what Atlanta took. Think of what San Antonio got back to get Murray off their roster because he wanted out. Right. He didn't want out as bad as to say trade me anywhere. He had one team. If I don't go to that team, I'm coming back.
Right. And they got 3 first-round draft picks, which
but they didn't get a king's ransom for him. They got 3 first-round picks. We kind of sort of see where the Spurs are going now.
They're getting rid of Danilo, and Danilo's going to Boston.
Yeah.
Which is
we see where the Spurs are going. They're actually, I'm assuming they're in that total rebuild mode. Yeah. So they'll take the picks and they'll move on and they'll be back because they have a good unit, front office, owner, coach. They have a good nucleus. So this won't take 5 to 7 years to turn around. Right. But Atlanta won, guys. I mean, I hate to say it.
That's a great move to he could take the ball sometimes out of little Chico DeBarge. I mean, Trae Young's hands, and Trae Young can play off the ball now and shoot more, as opposed to running the point.
And they can flip pressure.
Right.
Yeah, he takes that defensive pressure off of Young too.
Right. Trae Young doesn't have to guard. You got somebody who you could put on the team's best guard.
Yeah. They won that.
Great move all around.
Also good for John Collins. Murray knows how to work with. If they're gonna run, he gonna get him the ball. John Collins is gonna fill that lane. He gonna get the rock, and Murray likes to run. He likes to push that thing.
Yeah. And he ain't gonna run and stop at the 3-point line and launch up a damn logo 3. He's gonna keep going, and whoever's following him is gonna benefit from it.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's a much better point guard than Trae Young.
Right, Trae Young has his strong suits, but I think he would prefer to be able to shoot as opposed to creating offense for others. He would prefer, let me get mine and let that be somebody else's responsibility. So, and he's good at it. He's good at scoring.
Yeah.
So
he passes the ball,
Well, he had to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, you can't be a bad passer and average almost 10 assists a game.
Right.
Yeah. But he got them off of a lot of everybody running out toward him, and he hit the open man. But at least with Murray, like Bishop said, Murray's going to run. He's going to push the ball. And he ain't stopping at the 3-point line. He's going to keep going. You're going to stop him or he's going to get somebody a layup.
Right. And
He
you got to
just
also
been in obscurity in San Antonio.
you got to also remember, like Atlanta has like a bunch of like shooters, like a bunch of perimeter shooters. So when you say 10 assists, it's kind of like that number is kind of like inflated if I got a guy who's shooting 50% from the field. You know what I mean? It's like,
well,
those dudes.
he's driving and kicking, and they're hitting.
How many assists did Murray have, Mark? Look that up.
Y'all keep talking.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I think it's a good.
He had 9. He also had 9 assists last year.
that's equivalent to 18 assists because he didn't have nobody to pass the ball to.
Right.
So he got lucky 9 times passing the ball to that team.
He got lucky 9 times.
Yeah, he should have had 18 assists if he was on a good team.
Right. And that was based on him just pushing the ball.
Yeah,
they had like some athletes on there.
Pop's team, even though it was mediocre last year, it still ran Pop's offense.
Right.
But they at least opened it up a little bit with Murray.
Yeah.
They weren't as stagnant as they normally were with that. That old Boston Celtics move the ball around. They actually pushed the ball a lot more. Hence the reason this kid had 9 assists. If you watch him play, I mean, he don't slow down, guys.
Nope.
And he's not small. It's not like he's 6'1".
6'5".
Yeah.
With a
it
large
ain't like he's 6'1" running around like Nate Robinson.
That's why I wanted him on the Knicks.
Yeah. I would have wished if I had my way, but I just knew the Knicks didn't have enough to get him. So they had to go after somebody in free agency. They didn't have enough to get Murray.
Right. Just like somebody posted that the Knicks should call the Nets and say, we got Randall, Fournier, and Cam. I'd hang the phone up on you if I was the Nets and you offered me Randall, Fournier, and Cam. Wouldn't you?
Oh, Durant?
Yes.
I heard, this is just what I heard, guys, and I hate rumors. Collins, Bogdanovic, and 2 first-round picks for Kevin Durant.
To where? What team? To Atlanta?
Collins, Bogdanovic, 2 first-round picks for Kevin Durant.
They're crazy. That's crazy.
I would at least listen. Yeah. They may have to give me another pick.
You didn't answer my question on the Randall, Fournier, and Cam.
No, nobody's answering that, Mark. Because first of all, this is what Knicks fans don't understand. If you're going in one direction, i.e., let's say, who had the 4th pick? Sacramento, right? Mm-hmm. Sacramento's trying to build something. So you could actually get away with trying to build something. I use the word Sacramento lightly. But if you're trying to build something, the last thing you want is contracts. You're trying to dump contracts because if you get these young players, you got them on the cheap.
If you do want a contract, you want it to be an expiring contract.
Right. Not just that, but one thing, how could Knicks fans think we'll send Randall to Sacramento and they just finished getting Sabonis? What was your mentality behind that?
Because they look at what the Knicks need and not what the other team has.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'll tell you what, that Collins, Bogdanovic, and a couple of picks for Durant, they might listen.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're going to get from Phoenix. I mean, you ain't getting nothing from Miami. That ain't going nowhere.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't think.
Well, I don't know. I know Durant wants to go there, but what do they really have? They can't trade Bam to the Nets because the Nets can't move Simmons because of their rookie year deals. You can't trade 2 people. Hello?
I don't think Miami and when you talk about picks, even if you get first-round picks from Miami, you're thinking they're going to fall off the map in the next 3-4 years, and that pick's going to be 1 through 10.
Those picks will be in the bottom, between 30 and 20, whatever. Let's move on. The Denver Nuggets gave Nikola, Jokic, 5 years, $264 million. They also traded guards Will Burton and Monte Morris for guards Kentavious, Caldwell-Pope, and Ish Smith. And like we said in the group, those are salary dumps because Kentavious and Ish Smith aren't better than Will Burton and Monte Morris.
The Burton part I can't understand.
Me either. I was shocked.
I can't.
What,
Barton? I said, really?
Will Barton?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they got to get, to me, what that says is when their number 2 guy is hurt and out, Will Barton was asked to score more.
Mm-hmm.
The responsibility for scoring a lot was put on him because Gordon wasn't delivering. So when the number 2 guy comes back and then Michael Porter Jr. comes back, you're not going to have that same role. And I don't think they want that headache. I don't think they want that headache of having to deal with him in a change role. So Kentavious Caldwell-Pope gives you a guy who can hit an open shot. He ain't going to be beefing about touches, and he plays D.
He's
and that's what you're going to need. He plays D.
Yeah, but he
still plays D.
The Burton Murray thing worked before Murray got hurt.
Yeah,
so
but
I understand what
his role.
Saying,
you changed his role, though. You changed his role. Like he became the de facto number 2 guy.
Right, but he knew his role was increased due to default because it actually worked for them before these guys got hurt.
Right.
That's the only part. And you know what? Getting Pope to be a plug and play guy, Ish Smith to come and relieve Murray. Not super bad. I just kind of like Will Burton. I like what he did. I like the way he steps up. And he's a good role player, a really good role player, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he'll go somewhere else. And when his contract's up,
he's in Washington.
Get a bag or half a bag. Because he wasn't going to get paid on Denver. Let's just be honest.
No.
He wasn't going to get paid on Denver. No. They just gave, what's his name? How could I forget his name? It pains me whenever I say it. Junior. They just gave Porter Jr. a max contract. Now you gave Joker a max contract.
Mm-hmm. What's Murray being paid? What's Murray being paid? So it's
I don't know if he got a max yet, but I know 2 out of them got a max contract within the last year. Porter got his before this year started, and now Joker. Murray, is Murray still on his rookie deal?
I believe so.
So they got to pay him. Yeah. Burton was the odd man out.
Pretty much.
Financially, too.
Yeah, because Caldwell-Pope is probably making somewhere between 12 and 15 million.
If that much.
If that much?
Nah,
if that much.
I don't know. I don't think he's making that much. He's bounced around.
Yeah, he's bounced around. I like him as a player, but again, he's streaky.
Yeah, but he always plays D. He always plays D, though.
Like Dom said, he's a plug and play guy. So we'll see.
He's an irritant on defense.
No, he ain't a great defender.
I said he's an irritant. Like he ain't lockdown defender, but he gonna cause somebody to be uncomfortable, and that's what you want. Because when he was playing on the Lakers, a lot of times he would be guarding that the other guard, the other scoring guard. It would be his responsibility, and because he's not asked to shoot and score a lot, it made his life easy because it's like the only thing I gotta do is just be annoying to this dude. That's all y'all want me to do.
Lakers were dumb for letting him go, but that's on Pelinka.
Yeah.
Let's move on. As Carl would say, Fat Boy Fresh. Zion Williamson got a 5-year, $231 million deal from the New Orleans Pelicans. Risky, huh?
God bless him.
Risky much?
Is it guaranteed? Because they didn't mention that.
I didn't see the particulars on the guarantees or bonuses.
That would make sense if it's not all guaranteed. And I'm like,
41 million a year. Oh, wow.
I'm wondering if there's some language in there that makes it like not all automatically guaranteed.
He needs a dietitian, a trainer, and he needs
games played, maybe.
Yeah, he needs to be incentivized. Weight, body mass, body fat.
But I got a funny feeling, Bishop, that I would venture to say 98% of that money is guaranteed because he could have became an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but who else was going to pay him?
Would have said we could wait this out a year.
Somebody would have paid him.
But then again, they might have rolled the dice, and he didn't play this year because he got hurt again, and now he's getting. That's a big risk, guys. To me, he got talent, but
do y'all think he's going to come in shape when camp comes around
with all that money?
Or is he going to?
He's eating half of New Orleans right now.
Or is he going to remain what he's been the last 2 years? I'm eating and I ain't.
He's going to embrace his inner James Harden.
Zion Williamson should have became a free agent and went to Utah, where he couldn't have ate that much, been up in the mountains some damn where. I don't know. It's just a big risk, guys, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He got talent.
Yeah, his injury history and him not being dialed into what New Orleans is trying to do.
It's amazing though what he could do with all that weight and looking like the Michelin Man and move the way he does. If he put his mind to just getting in shape, maybe he did, guys. We don't know. We haven't seen him in
2 years.
Them dunks that seem to hurt his ankles, but it's a lot of weight to be bouncing around the way he plays. Ooh, God bless him.
All I know is y'all find my father for me, please. Because that dude is 6'3", and he just his weak gene pool gave me 5'7". I'm gonna keep complaining about that. Find him and slap him. Let's move on. Ja Morant, 5 years, $231 million deal from the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies. I like that young man.
Well deserved.
Yeah. I like that young man. Is Memphis on the rise? Will they be a playoff team again next year?
Yeah.
I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think. I think what'll happen is it's going to surprise people anymore. So they're going to have a harder way to go. And I just read something that Jaren Jackson Jr. got like a fractured foot or something like that. So he had like surgery.
Out,
so
out 6
he
months.
So now you out one of your premier guys, and slow-mo is not there anymore. So at least he was a guy that you could like plug in there and you wouldn't lose too much.
Who's slow-mo?
Kyle Anderson.
Right.
He's not there anymore. I'm not sure, but I know I saw something where he had signed someplace else. He was finalizing a deal someplace else, and it was like, meh. I wasn't didn't really care about the Grizzlies like that anyway. So it's just like
Go ahead, Don.
What I warn people about, Mac, that when everybody was talking about, oh my God, they got this great young core. Well, when it gets time for everybody to get paid, how many of them young people are going to stay there for some hometown discount?
Right.
It sounds good right now, but Bishop going to get paid sooner or later, and if Memphis ain't going to pay him, they might get a good 2-3 year run out of this. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when them contracts start to expire and you got to make a decision, and Bishop got to make a decision, finances over Memphis.
Right. So
we'll see.
Morant,
we will see.
Ja Morant is the face of this franchise. They need
for now.
Yeah, he could be an empty face in a minute.
They need to build around him. What what is missing from this team to make them better?
Well, so to me, I think you got to be careful in a smaller market. You got to be careful with who you make the face of your franchise. Who you make the face of your franchise, because that you rise and fall with this person. And my thing is injuries, life circumstances, whatever. You see, he's injury prone. He's exciting.
Already.
He's exciting when he is on the court, but he's injury prone. So I wouldn't want to necessarily make him. Yeah, he's the one of the main core guys. But while you have like other guys who can step in and still do the job, I would try to, as a GM and a coach, I would try to make it a team of we, because you don't want to get. It's like, and the funny thing about fame and fortune, and it's a funny thing about it, not everybody can handle it. So you might back yourself up into a corner and you're in a small market, and it's like, okay, so you make one bad decision and that throws you back 10 to 15 seasons because you can't get from under that. So like, while I like Ja Morant, I wouldn't necessarily make him the face of the franchise. I would make it more of like a team. I would be approaching it from like a team of we.
Like how they were before with the Griffin Bronze.
I was getting ready to say that, Mark.
Yeah.
They never overpaid nobody. They stood competitive. They slowed the game down. And again, they stood competitive. Now you're giving one guy $231 million. Like I said, this looks cute now. Oh, they're young. They got all these young players. Well,
so let me ask y'all.
Start throwing out $231 million, you're shortening that pot.
Ja's 22. Desmond Bane is 23. Brooks is still there, right?
Yes.
Dylan Brooks is 26. Jaren Jackson is 22. Steven Adams is the Grizzlies vet at 28. And you said Kyle Anderson left, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was 28. And everybody else on their roster is somewhere between 20 and 25.
Right.
The other forward that they got, the one with the dreads, I forget his name. The one with the boy-yoing. He be catching people, catching bodies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Baines
is going to be the first one to go.
Right.
Well, nobody's going to pay him. Nobody's going to pay him. Nobody's going to pay him.
He'll get more than Memphis is going to be able to offer him at the rate they're going, because you got to pay Baines, Jackson. Who was the other guy, Mark? Go back to the first four names you mentioned. Jackson, Baines,
Dylan
Brooks.
Brooks. That's the one. He's going to be the first one to leave. Because how are you going to pay him, Baines, and Jackson, and you already paid Morant?
Well, Bane is the odd guy out. They're not going to pay him because
they ain't going to be able to pay Brooks though, because he's going to demand more than Baines.
Right.
Here's the scary thing, guys. When you look at what they invested in Morant, and what was it, Bishop? They went like 20-3 in the games he missed during the season. So these guys feel like they got some cachet. I need some money. We held this together for 23 games. I don't know. It ain't gonna work for them. They're too small market team. The Milwaukee Bucks are lucky as hell. I got to give them credit. They're lucky as hell to be in a small market team. Go $92 million into the cap.
And then they made some good moves in the postseason.
They're second, Mark. To me, it's Atlanta and Milwaukee.
They gave Bobby Portis Jr. a nice deal. 4 years,
Matthews.
$49 million. Didn't they have Matthews before? They kept him. Got Matthews. They signed somebody else.
Ingles. Another perimeter shooter.
That's a nice pickup. Ingles, low key moves.
Right. But they kept the core together. And remember, guys, they went into the luxury tax over $92 million last year. They walked away with the chip, don't get me wrong. But then Golden State almost doubled that. They went in $138 million into the luxury tax this year.
Right. If
Middleton, they both walked away with the gold ball.
Right. If Middleton doesn't get hurt during this postseason, might have been a different. We might be talking about something different. Not saying Boston would have lost, but it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not mad at like Bishop was saying. I like Ja Morant. Memphis is buzzing right now because of him, so they went with the buzzy name. So that's why he's the face of the franchise, right?
Yeah.
Can't fault them for that.
I just want to know. I said this in the beginning. I want to see this in 2 to 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Who's staying? Who's going? Who they paying? Who they not paying?
What move? What might sometimes small moves are better than the big moves. You know, chasing a big name as opposed to just getting a player that plays well within what you have. Speaking of that, Bradley Beal stays in Washington. He opted out. 5 years, $251 million deal, Washington Wizards. I had a discussion with our brother Bishop and Reg. I had a discussion with our brother Eric. I'm not going to say his last name. Light-skinned dude.
Another light-skinned dude, huh?
But he is our brother. He was saying that Bradley Beal just wants to lose. I'm like, no. I'm not mad at him for staying because we sometimes criticize players for leaving, and we have a guy here who wants to stay, even though Washington might not be the ideal organization you would want to stay with.
Why not? They just paid him $200 and something million. Why not?
So you would stay
for $200 and something million? I'm winning.
Hell yeah,
I'm winning. I won.
Yeah,
you winning at life, right?
I'm winning. You know, it's like championship. I'm winning. I get my all-star nods. I get my scoring. I keep my scoring up. I got this generational wealth thing going on. I'm winning.
So let me ask y'all this: if Bradley Beal was to go to another organization or winning a better organization, is he a winning player?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, we'll never know because he decided to stay. Right. I'll tell you what. If you put it another way, Mark, would he make any other team better?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Any other team. I'm talking the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Knicks. Any team in the NBA, he gonna make them better. Imagine him take away CJ McCollum and put him on New Orleans.
Ooh. With him and Ingram? Ooh, that's sort of like, not saying it's the same thing, but remember when the Knicks had Houston and Sprewell? How that?
You can't guard anybody like that, and then you got Zion, and wow, that's a pretty potent team.
Yeah.
That's a pretty potent team, and you got guys they create off the dribble, and they can create for others,
Right.
And a constant threat,
I would take Beal over McCollum.
Different pedigree.
Yeah. Just pedigree. I love CJ as a player, but Bradley Beal is just better.
It's a few levels more, a few levels above.
Exactly. But
let me ask y'all this: with the team that Washington has, they acquired Will Burton. They got some other young pieces, Achimura, some of the other young guys. Washington, can they be better next year?
No.
I had to ask.
No, they just switched out. They just switched out the names, but they're still the same. Still the same core.
They're gonna be a team that's like a 10th seed, 11th seed.
Well, in today's NBA with this play-in garbage, if they get to a play-in spot, they won. They won. I said the same thing about New Orleans last year. New Orleans was like 5-18 at one point. And all I kept saying, if you remember, guys, man, if they make the play-in, damn any further. If they make the play-in, they're winning. to compare to what they went through, what they're trying to build, if they simply make the play-in. And what did they do? They made the play-in. I think they won the play-in, didn't they? Yeah. And then lost to Memphis.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, the Wizards could make a play-in. I mean, the top 6 in the East are probably a lock. Anything under that is a roll of the dice. So, but I don't know. The Wizards didn't get no better, like Bishop said. They just gave Beal $251 million.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
And why should Beal feel bad? I didn't. You could have used that $251 and rebuilt your whole team.
How many big ass contracts he's had?
Quite a few. Well, at least 2.
He's a good guy to have as the ambassador for your franchise. He ain't really gonna rock the boat.
He's a community guy. He does a lot in the community.
Yeah, it's like just the perfect citizen. He's like the Allen Houston of Washington.
You know what?
And how long has he been there now, Mark?
It's almost 10 years. It's been about 10 years.
He's a fixture. And remember, he was making $30-something million, and opted out of that to get this. Whoa.
Yeah, he outlasted John Wall. You remember the two of them were making that money.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Wall got paid
got
first.
a supermax.
Yeah, Wall got paid first.
Right.
Then Beal got paid.
Right. Speaking of John Wall, he got bought out by Houston, and he signs with the LA Clippers. Here's the thing.
He's winning. Financially.
They bought him out, right? So Houston paid about $41 million of that $47 million he was supposed to get this year.
Right.
The Clippers,
like the Knicks did with Kemba.
Right. The Clippers are paying him $6 million for 2 years. So this year he'll get his 47.
Yeah.
Last payday, because I think John Wall, he's over 30. He's had 2 bad leg injuries back to back. I don't think he's the same player. What? Going to the Clippers isn't a bad thing. They'll be a playoff team.
He should be healthy by now. He hasn't played in 2 years.
Right.
And he's a local from North Carolina. I always liked John Wall, even before I moved here. I always liked him. He's got the energy. But you're right, though, Mark. Going to the Clippers.
He never worked on his game.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He didn't. He never worked on his game. He still ain't.
Yes,
he still don't have a jump shot. He still don't have a jump shot.
Yeah.
He's very limited.
It's better than what it was. Before he got hurt, he had improved vastly on his efficiency from the 3 spot, from shooting threes.
But what's the one thing we always remembered about John Wall? Man, he could run.
Get to the
Never
hole.
heard them say he'll knock down a 3. He could run.
Yeah, and
he's fast.
He's fast.
Yeah, he's fast.
And let's be honest. He's another guy. He gets you about 9-10 assists a night.
That depends on if he wants to pass. That depends on if he wants to pass the ball.
But look who he was playing with in Washington.
Yeah, and he
was
really
just
never
him
got
and
a
Beal.
chance to play in Houston. Yeah, I'll give him a shot. I mean, he got good players around him this time, probably for the first time in his career.
Right. It's funny if you look at them. All those guys, all those big names have been injured.
Yeah.
Paul George, Kawhi, him.
Yeah, he's definitely going to a handicapped team. They all got license plates with the wheelchair.
Mesh.
Yeah, all of them got a license plate. They get front row parking wherever they go.
Yeah, it's still the Clippers, though. It's still the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's still, at the end of the day, no matter what the names are, it's still on the front of that uniform.
No, say paper clips.
Yeah, on the front of that uniform, it still is the Clippers. So whatever, it's like So no matter who they get there, it's still the Clippers.
I hope he does good though. I like John Wall.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll tell you what. There's a 98.9% chance that deal with the buyout and them paying him peanuts works out better than Nick getting Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
We'll see. He hasn't played in 2 years.
Yep.
So what I'll ask, and what I'm curious about is, so Kemba Walker, when you mentioned it, is a small guard.
Right.
Thibodeau didn't want to play with a small guard.
Mm-hmm.
So now they go and sign a small guard to a 4-year contract. I'm wondering how that's gonna work.
Well, he's younger.
Yeah, I just think
he hasn't had any injuries like Kemba Walker. Also, he's known Brunson his whole life.
Okay, so
not just that, Bishop. Us living here in North Carolina, you living in Charlotte, actually. If we're really being honest, we saw Kemba's wheels coming off probably 2 years before he left Charlotte.
He's been
they wore him out. They wore him out.
Exactly. I was getting ready to say that.
They wore him out. Yeah,
they wore him out.
The Hornets wore him out,
and then they let him go.
They used him. They used him and put him away wet.
Because people fail to realize how many times Kemba got beat up, because Kemba was not afraid to go to the basket.
Yeah,
he's landed on his ass 80% of the game.
Right. That's why he's in the condition he's in now. Y'all know, Steve. You know, Steve Clifford is back as the Hornets coach.
Yeah. Yep.
Why'd Mike fire him in the first place?
Because he didn't want to. He didn't want to play the way Mike wanted them to play. He didn't want to coach the way Mike wanted them to play.
Mike is just a bad owner. It was the GM who fired him. It was Kupchak. Kupchak did, for whatever reason, didn't like. Once he became the GM, for whatever reason, he didn't like Steve.
But you know what? He's probably one of the better coaches Charlotte's had in the last umpteen years.
And he'll get in LaMelo Ball's ass.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Bridges, though. He turned down their offer, and then he gets into this shit.
Yeah, did you see the pictures?
Yes, sir.
He just ruined he just might have ruined himself getting the big money.
Might have ruined his career.
So one of the things that I read a bunch of the stories, and I'm like, okay, well, before I rush to judgment to say whether or not, because we've seen this before where people have gone through great lengths to tip the scale in their favor. So like, you know, chicks getting beat up and then saying this person did it, this person did this person did that, and there's nothing you can say. I mean, it's scintillating to hear, oh yeah, even the kid confirmed that this happened. It's not beyond reason or reasonability to say that somebody could have coached the kid to say this and this because they want to make mommy happy. So I'm not saying that he did do it. I'm not saying that he did do it. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. But I got to say, if this was going on, this wasn't the first time. And what was going on all those times that she was going to the hospital, if this was the case? Like, the hospital is obligated to reach out to the authorities if they think that it's a domestic violence situation.
Right.
They're obligated.
The first time he really beat her.
The story is that it's been going on for quite some time, and she's been protecting him and this and that, and now she feels like she doesn't have anything to lose because yada yada yada. And the pictures that I saw, it's like, who is this? Like, this doesn't look like an NBA wife. This looks like a battered, distraught, homeless person. So it's kind of like it wasn't a prototype. It wasn't a picture that I was expecting to see.
Right.
And it's like some of that stuff. It's like, okay, well, he beat you up, but if this is the case, how are you hiding this? How are you hiding this? Going to the hospital with broken ribs or fractured.
That part's not too hard, Bishop, because no matter how she goes in there looking, they can only take her story. Yeah, I'm not defending her or him, but all I know is this case, with the evidence and all that, they actually filed felony charges on him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's innocent until proven guilty. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I think he dug himself. And you know what? You heard me, Mark. I love Miles Bridges.
Right.
Well, up until we clear
Mm-hmm.
the air. And there's plenty of ways, Bishop, that these women, it's sad to say it, you know, it is. But there's
Also,
some ways where they try to
I hate
protect
to
this
say
individual.
Timing. The timing of this happening. And are going to the police or whatever, or the police becoming involved.
But you would think this time, if you're going by the timing and a contract, that this time she might have said, you know, this financially is going to really help us. Maybe I should shovel it under the rug this time. If she was looking for a financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Here's a story I got. Years ago, one of my bosses took me to a hip hop concert. Ghostface and Rakim were the headliners. Rakim went next to last, and Ghostface went on last. Rakim didn't go on because he got arrested for child support by his child's mother. And she said, this is the report. Oh, sometimes he gets behind in payments, and then he'll do shows, and then he'll pay me in a big lump sum. So he doesn't get paid until he performs. You just ruined the money you were supposed to get. And I'm not equating, that situation to this situation, because this is different. It's abuse, physical abuse.
Yeah, well, let's think about this. Then you have another case scenario. I always try to look at things from all angles. When you have a vindictive person involved in a situation, it's like, let it burn.
Right.
I don't stand to gain from it. Maybe he, was leveling up and leaving somebody behind. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to fix this. It's all going to come burning now. The house is going to burn. Is going to burn, and I got the gasoline and the matches right here in my hand, and I'm watching it burn. So again, it's like you got to look at it from, because it just seems like really, really like odd. And again, I'm not defending him because if that's the case, then it's deplorable. I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying, just looking at it from the outside, we've seen these cases before where it turns out that everything being said and everything, it was all a farce because, something didn't go somebody's way, and they decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands and get some payback, get some vengeance or whatever it is. I'm not saying that this is the case here. And I'm listening to some of these like sports commentators, and they're really going in and not knowing all of the facts. It's like, it's tough to judge, because I gotta say, when you go to give you a perfect example, if you go to the hospital and it could be something that, like, if your spouse fell, what they do is they ask you as the spouse to leave the room, because they need to be able to ask certain questions in the privacy without them feeling like you might be able to influence the answers. And if they're not satisfied with the answers, they're obligated to reach out to the authorities. So it's not the charges that or anything that you have to do. It's like, you got broken ribs. How could you have gotten broken ribs? You got this fracture in your face. How could you have gotten that? How could you have gotten a broken, torn muscle in your neck? You understand what I'm saying? Like, how could that have happened? How could this have happened? It's apparently, from the stories that I read, this wasn't the first time. So it's like, this wasn't the first time. So if this wasn't the first time, what happened all those other times? Like, So you mean to tell me everybody was colluding not to blow up his spot? I doubt it.
Or could it be, Bishop, when they ask you those questions, they got to take your answer. So if your answer is this or that, then that's the answer the authorities go with. I mean, right. they don't have no grounds to investigate a case that nobody opened. So again, not to take sides, but if she sugarcoated it all this time, and this time it went like, totally left, where she looked like she was in a WWF match.
Right.
I don't know. It just, the optics, I'll say this, the optics don't look well.
The optics
and there
and
are reports that he
bad.
has a bad temper.
Well, you can see that. You can see that.
Yeah.
You can see that from his on the court performances. Yeah. You can see that. So it's kind of like, dude, like, it's not, like you said, it's not a good look.
No. And I'll go back to, while I don't have a nickel in this dime, I like Mikal Bridges, but I also liked a lot of other. I loved R. Kelly. Until and how many times did he get away with what he got away with? No shade to R. Kelly, to me, still the greatest musician of my generation. But again, there goes a case of everybody shoveling something under the rug until the rug got so damn full of dirt that it just started leaking out. And it's sad. I wish him the best, man.
Yeah. With that, I'm gonna bid y'all adieu. It's been a great show. NBA free agency, NBA trades. More to come because teams aren't finished, and we'll probably be back Monday. This is In the Paint. It's the realest show in sports. Those that were on my page, thank you. I see you. Too many of y'all to name. Those on the YouTube channel, thank you. Everybody else watching us, thank you. We appreciate you. Share the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's In the Paint Media Group, the realest show in sports. I'm Max611. Peace.